All right, so we're going to slow it down because of the fact that they're ahead of us. And we're also going to add the ELO here, as I'm sure people are going to be curious. Sorry, I can't type. These guys are just above 2250 right now, I think. I'm going to change Cosmonaut to red because I think that's easier to see. And all right, here we are. 1v1 game. Once again, my overlay is cutting off the names of these amazing civilizations. So I'll introduce Uzi, Mexican high-level player. He's actually really climbing right now. He's officially back into that top 100 conversation. Playing as the Hindustanis, not the Hindustanis. And then in the red, we have Dr. Cosmonaut. And Cosmonaut's playing as the Lithuanians. And he as well is a bit above the 2250 I have on your screen. Both of these civilizations are really good civilizations in a lot of different situations, but particularly on Arabia. And Cosmonaut actually going to wood a little bit earlier than you would normally do. You, of course, can do that with the Lithuanians because the Lithuanians start with more food in the bank. Players are also very close together, so I could see aggression winning out here. But both players also have a map where I think they're going to wall and want to play safe. Like, until they know where their opponent is, this is going to be interesting on how they choose to play it. But yeah, 4 on wood start tells me that Cosmonaut is going to want to do something with an early barracks in this matchup. What did I want to talk about? Okay, so let me talk about Cosmonaut a bit. So Turkey has, you know, for a country that's of somewhat smaller size compared to some of the other countries that we have on the Age of Empires community, they've got some really solid, like, 2K plus players. I'm going to list off a couple. You've got Rusher, who, as far as I know, has played the game for like 20 years, like mid-30s guy. Rusher's really solid, 2100 player. You've got Cyclops, who used to be one of the best players in the world back in the mid-2000s. He plays under some different names at times. You've got a couple team game guys that play a lot of team games. I'm trying to think. Well, Kazva doesn't play AoE2 anymore, which is sad. He was like the best Turkish player, and he's focused on AoE4 these days. But Cosmonaut's one you just might not have heard of as much, and he's really improved over the last year or so. So keep an eye out for him. You'll see him more and more in events. Has at least shown on the ladder that he's improved. It would have been 2100 last year. So he's climbed up the world ranks a bit. This is what I mean, though. Uzi's looking for his opponent, and he's found one sheep, and he's probably still like, "What? Where is this guy?" And now he ends up finding him. And there's the barracks now for Cosmonaut, and Cosmonaut is going to find the main gold. So he knows his opponent will be over here. So yeah, weird-ish positions, but good job from both players to locate the enemy. And what Uzi hasn't seen... Well, actually, you know what Uzi saw is Uzi saw 4 on wood. So this is the beauty of scouting. This gets me so excited, man. It really shouldn't be this exciting, I think, but I just love the game so much that I want to talk about it all the time. But yeah, just seeing 4 on wood from Lithuanians tells him it's probably going to be, or it could be, this strategy. And so Cosmonaut saw the palisades, and he's probably like, crap. I was hoping villagers would be exposed. So he's not even going to show them, right? Because, like, Uzi doesn't know 100% that that's happening. He probably has even more suspicions now because he saw the barracks. Yep. Okay, Uzi's going to wall up this side. Cosmonaut has clicked through, and oh, the scout just got hit in the face. So Uzi's in a pretty nice position now as he's going up on 19 pop. Who are the top 3 Turkish players? Well, AoE Nexus should show that, but it's probably, of players who are active right now, it's probably Cyclops, Cosmonaut, and that could be in whichever order. And then Rusher would be my guess. Yeah, I don't know the population of Turkey. It might be a lot larger than what I'm thinking, but they've got a pretty sizable high-level player base. And like I said, like I played a 2v2 event with MBL like a couple months back, and I was up against 2 guys I'd never heard of before, and they're actually like really sick. They gave us more of a challenge than we expected, let's put it that way. Okay, so looks like it'll be a scout build for Uzi. And while you might be disappointed in some cases if you're in Cosmonaut's position, it's not the end of the world because Uzi hasn't been able to do any damage yet. And this has bought you a lot of time. So your opponents thought a lot about defense, defense, defense. And so meanwhile, we have some walls going up for Cosmonaut. Still think that the focus now for Uzi is using the starting scout to stop any full walls. So the starting scout's looking right now, saw the walls here, is going to see the wall here, and will be tempted to attack. But you could tell he realized that there's no way that he kills that Vil without it getting back to the TC. So he's looking for openings, guys. And this is not only a situation where the starting scout scouting things is really important. But look at what the starting scout can do to affect even this stage of the game. This is beautiful stuff. And Cosmonaut recognizes this. So he's used 2 villagers as opposed to 1 because he needs to get these walls down fast. And because 2 villagers can attack 1 scout. So he wanted a full wall, but this is the correct adaptation to go for the small walls here so this scout play doesn't do damage. Double checking here, but yeah, Cosmonaut with really sick plays. I think I would have tried to be greedy and wall this. And if that would have happened, I might be losing a villager already. I forgot, yeah, Sony Toprano is also a fairly active Turkish player. There's more names as well. Have you seen any high-level Maltese players? No, I don't think so. But again, you could use AoEnexus.com to see if there's any. Okay, so the scout, the militia are now going to be met up with by the Lithuanian spears. And the spears are super fast with the Lithuanians. So Uzi will be disappointed not to have killed any villagers. But look at the execution. 1 second of TC idle time. Solid eco upgrades from both players. Uzi now realizes he can't really engage against the militia and the spears. And that archers are on the way, so he's now adding an archer range. And that's the perfect decision from him. And it'll be a lot about execution now with the micro and whatnot. You can tell Cosmonaut's trying to be a pest. And Uzi's just not having it as he'll finish his range now. And getting his walls down, and a skirm should be on the way. Yes, skirms are good against spearmen, but skirms are also good against archers. And so someone in Cosmonaut's position could simply just stay at home with his archers and never move out, because skirmishers aren't really good at killing villagers over wood lines. But you can also add a stable. Oh my god, this game! These guys are so good. It's perfect. You add the stable because your opponent is going to go skirmishers. And this allows you to still move out across the map. But look at Uzi. He's like, all right, where is he? Playing defense now, pulling my skirms over. Until he just is looking for those skirms right now. He's trying to get his walls down, just like his opponent did to him. 2 villagers on the walls. And he sees the archers are here, so he's probably so happy that he was able to get these walls down. And the scouts, they don't really take the biggest hit. Now the skirmishers can fire over top the walls and hit everything. And now Cosmonaut has to decide if he wants to continue to go back here. Because if he does, it'll be really hard for him to meet up with scouts. I mean, just now making the second scout, which honestly doesn't feel that strong. And I think Uzi might see that as well. Yeah, Uzi sees the scout. So now Uzi knows. Now Uzi doesn't have his scouts here, which makes life a little bit awkward. I think Uzi has played this game so well, man. Like, I think Cosmonaut tried to take an advantage in the initiative with the Drush. But because Uzi scouted that barracks, he knew what to prep for. And then ever since then, he has been kind of one step ahead. Brings his scouts back home. We'll probably rewall this so he's protected. So now the only area he's exposed in is here. And more farming eco for both players, obviously, as they build up towards the next age. We have some walls here from Uzi, just to keep himself protected. And he decides, you're going to add scouts. Well, I'll just add a couple more scouts just to match that. Cosmonaut does have fletching. So that's going to be, like, the archers are going to be a lot more effective against scouts than the skirmishers will be against scouts. But we still have 4 scouts versus 2. And we even have armor now for Uzi, who's just like, you know what? I'm a little worried about this. I'm probably going to want to make stable units in this matchup in the long term anyways. So let's just get those upgrades and put an end to this once and for all. Not a fan of the potato bases. Well, it's a timing thing, right? The potato walls are to get the walls down at the proper times. If he tried to go full wall in some of these areas, and this goes for both players, it could add some really big problems. Armor's in, and here comes the engagement. And these skirmishers will go after the archers. The archers will have to go after the scouts, but now that armor's in, the archers will accomplish a whole lot less. And it's a full clear here for Uzi. Man, Uzi's looking good, man. Like, Uzi is honestly playing this game way cleaner than I recall him playing before he took a 6-month break. I counter Uzi a lot on the ladder. I would say that, I mean, Cosmonaut has also really improved. I mean, everyone's just getting so good. And what do you have here? You have a market, which funnily enough, it's like the classic case of adding a market, but then by the time your market completes, you don't even need the resources to be purchased. It's just instinct. And there he clicks up. So, you know, you found benefit to adding the skirms and adding the scouts now if you're in Uzi's position. But because you spent the food and your opponent did not spend as much, they're on the way to Castle Age a little bit faster. It's the same thing here. Like, Uzi's going to add a market, but he doesn't even need it. Honestly, I think what decides how the rest of this game goes now is going to be if house walls are up to defend from the crossbowmen. And I love the crossbowman play. Too many people are baited into going like pikemen or knights when you're playing as the Lithuanians. But especially up against a good camel civilization, I think going into crossbowman makes a lot of sense here. And that's what the Hindustanis typically go for. And now we see 3 ranges for Uzi. So I think Uzi is going to want to try something like cav archers. And today, the theme today has been animals killing units. We saw 3... Okay, there's no kill there. We saw 3 kills from Gaia in the previous game. Let me see. Has Uzi scouted this? Oh, guys, he doesn't know. So he's scouting the map. This is the first scouting mishap. And it's like the worst one. It's so important to double check what your opponent's doing. I think he assumes after clearing those archers, his opponent will not go archers. And I think he's expecting knights. But this is going to come as a surprise here. Yeah, if he expected crossbow, he would have fortified behind all this. And he probably would have been adding more skirms. What a great uptime here from Cosmonaut. Also, does anyone know if Cosmonaut is a reference? Forgive me for my sheltered upbringing. I've never fact-checked that. I have no clue. I know who the guy is, but I don't know that name is a reference. Okay, panic time. The crossbows are here. This is going to be so bad. And so what's he decide to do? He goes for the siege workshop. And he now goes for the house. Can we just have people say something in chat right now? Because that message is so awkward to me. That message is so awkward. I don't want to look at it anymore. The skirmishers were just sitting here, I guess. They're going to get picked off now. This is a little bit of a harassment on the wood line. I'm going to assume that's a bot. And now the siege is on the way for Uzi. But what he did do is he did house wall over here. Now there's still a hole. Just Russian for astronaut. Oh, is that what that stands for? Okay. So I don't know. Red's going to assume there's a hole here. And Red's now dropping the second TC. Deadly Cookie, don't even. And it's still going to continuously be crossbows. Now, again, as I stated before, crossbows have their time window. But now that you haven't killed anything, you might also be thinking, do I want to have crossbows with a save that doesn't get arbalest in the long term? This is an amazing game. Again, I'm in a great mood, so that could be part of it. But I've done this enough where sometimes the games are just dull. It's also exciting because I know a lot of you out there watching, whether it's on the stream or later on in the videos, might not know these two players, so it might be refreshing to see different names. From like the difference in build orders to the importance of the scouting and adapting and tech switching. This has been awesome. These cav archers for Uzi could run right in there. Oh boy, and now we have damage control from Cosmonaut, but there's a hole, and he can Cosmonaut keep them out of his woodline. And meanwhile, he's here, but oh, what a feeling. Oh my god, what the oh man, what a convenient overchop. Oh, that's funny. That overchop saved like 5 or 6 villagers there. The Eco KD is still only 1-0, and now the crossbows for Cosmonaut are going to attempt to run through. And we have to remember Cosmonaut, who needs a garrison here. Cosmonaut. Cosmonaut is on 3 town centers. So loses vills, but can add more vills. But will he get rocked? Nope. Runs away. Crossbow mass is still very deadly. And also with the ranges, you could eventually go into elite skirmisher with the Lithuanians. But not with this food eco. Not with so many of these farms being harassed. We have the split micro from Cosmonaut. He looks like he did get hit. And yeah, Uzi's got to decide on adding a second town center or going all in with something more here. Because Uzi has so much food. Ideally, you're going to want to spend that. And look at the micro. And oh, wait, the repair villager went down. Split! The micro, he gets 1. The 1's a given. And it looks like he's going to run away instead of going for the second. All right. Cav archers did have bloodlines, by the way. Hindustanis have fantastic cav archers. And again, they also can do virtually everything. You think a civ that couldn't make knights would have problems, but no. There's been lots of discussions about how the dev gave this civ too many bonuses. 17 army versus 14. And Cosmonaut added the town centers faster. But he's adding TC number 4 as well. Like, he's really not going to be floating food for anything else. It's going to be full range units from him. And we do have town center number 2 for Uzi, who is super cheap vills. And he's actually selling his food now just to get more upgrades. Ballistics is not in for Uzi, and Ballistics is in for Cosmonaut. But Cosmonaut now losing more control. I would really like to see him get the Elite Skirm upgrade or the Siege. I think that because he's so concerned about this pressure coming in, I think he added this 4th TC, but it doesn't make a ton of sense for this game flow. It's now very helpful that he has a market, because I don't think he really needs that much gold, and he's desperate for wood. Town center number 3 now, so Uzi's just taken map control. Now is going to boom. And there will be no question on the efficiency of the town centers when you have 700 food and cheap Hindustani villagers. But Cosmonaut has pretty much decided I can't engage against this with my crossbows at all. So I'm going to add my own siege, hope for the best, try and keep this TC up, and now counterattack. And Uzi hasn't seen the army in a long time, so Uzi's placing houses because he knows that army might be out there. Which is an amazing play, obviously, right? Okay, the defense is needed. Uzi will see the siege workshop, so he now knows I need to pay attention. He still must be confused, though. He still doesn't see the crossbows. Waiting for the siege to pop out. Now he sees there's a flag. And he probably looked home for 1 second to create villagers. But he took the TC out, which is not bad. Maybe that's why Cosmonaut added the other one. He's like, hey, I'm 3 TC booming. Let's go. Really sucks to be these crossbows right now. But what you could do is you could pick off reinforcements. But man, so much of this economy is exposed. Also, villagers are on stone with Uzi, so we can think about future plans with the Hindustanis. But he has fallen behind by 15 villagers and still does not have ballistics. I saw the university going up at home, though, so clearly that's going to be something he's planning on. He's probably adding farms. He's like farming eco, farming eco, farming eco. And then bam! He gets hit. Because he's adding farms in that back corner. Remember, ballistics is in for Cosmonaut. So he's hitting shots as the units are moving around. Oh, good shot there. Doesn't get the kill, though. Shoot the farm, man. Hit the farm. That's where the units... Oh! Repair villager. Hit the farm. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Oh, and it's still up. Okay, but you know it's weak, and you know there's no repair villagers. So you could, in theory, consider diving in for that. Instead, Cosmonaut backs away. Obviously, like, getting housed is something that you should almost expect when you're under this much pressure. But the resources are climbing towards the Imperial Age click for Cosmonaut. The resources are also climbing towards the Imperial Age potentially for Uzi. Just needs more gold right now. And that TC on gold is going to solve that problem. We now have a scrambled up defensive castle there for Cosmonaut as he clicks up to the Imperial Age. And that will defend the gold and this wood line if he wants to take it. I would just really like to see a second archery range for him. Or, sorry, a third archery range for him and maybe elite skirm. And now Uzi's cav archers are over here. And now these things are insane. They have ballistics. Thumb ring is now also on the way. But we'll see if he can keep them alive. His siege is awkwardly rolling around this way, which is kind of funny. Hill forts, hill forts, hill forts. Cosmonaut can't afford anything, but hill forts would actually be a really funny technology to see here. And not funny as in like a bad way. I actually think hill forts is a good tech to get with the Lithuanians. You just never see it at a high level. Still loving the cav archer production from Uzi. Tried to raid here, realizes there's a castle now. Will now lose his siege to the latest or two that arrive from Cosmonaut. Still, though, worried about these cav archers, and the mobility of the CA must be frustrating him to no end. And has to pull back, has to garrison more villagers, and he just continues to lose vills. And he's paying full price for these villagers. Also, the cav archers can escape. It's not like the cav archers have to run back this way. They could actually go this way. I think he's just going to end up going that way once he sees the crossbowmen here, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, he could always just get away this way as well. Mods, can we ban that account? That's a very... It's just making me feel awkward. It's not saying anything that's necessarily bad. You know, some bots try and get you to click links and whatnot, but... Creeping me out, man. One relic for both, by the way. +1 attack on the cav for Lithuanians after getting relics, which is awesome. But you really want cav when your opponent has camels that... go all the way to the Imperial camel and attack faster. And when there's this many cav archers, I do not think a cav switches in order. And oh man, this is so good from Uzi. The cav archers loop right back in, and the crossbows are still chasing. The crossbows are split up to try and find this group. Now, when the game started, we talked about another group as well. Oh, he's all over him now. Guys, when the game started, we talked about the middle area and these golds, and now Uzi's got a castle on it. And the KD is just disgusting now. More kills here. Crossbows don't get any better, really. We haven't even seen Bracer yet. So these aren't even imp crossbows. But technically, they do get better, obviously, after those upgrades. Do Samurai have attack bonus versus longboats? I think they would. Because they have bonuses against unique units. But I haven't fact-checked that. Look at the food floating for Uzi. This is insane. I think he is the perfect prep here. He's just going to go stables. Like, with a lot of civs, their tech tree is solid to do a couple things. And so you expect their next move. Hindustanis could go for the Gulams, which is great against range units, but also could just go for full stable units. Get full blacksmith upgrades. You can go camels. I personally like the idea of just going Hussar, because your cav archers are still going to be that killer unit. We don't have to have a discussion on the camel, on the hand cannons, which is also very strong. This is just going to be cav archers and Hussar, which prior to the Hindustanis becoming the Hindustanis, they were always good at. But they lacked the final armor on their cav. They no longer lack the final armor on their cav, so their Hussars are way better. You think the Hindustani Vil count, or Vil discount should be toned down? I disagree. I think they shouldn't give the Civ 16.5 million options from their tech tree. Like, that eco bonus, like, it would give me so much pain if they decided to change the Vil discount, all because they decided to give the Civ so many buffs. I think you just tone down some of the buffs, and I think the Vil discount is a really solid eco bonus that we shouldn't remove. Like, I guess maybe, like, okay, so if you tone down some of the other options, maybe. Like, you tone down some of the other options, and Hindustanis are still destroying everything, maybe. But I always thought that was a really good bonus, and I don't think it should change. And the GG's called. And honestly, like, Hindustanis or no Hindustanis, it was an amazing game overall, and very well played from Uzi. I think that, in theory, Uzi could have played this as Huns, and Well, obviously he wouldn't have had the house walls, but he could have played similarly and maybe won the game with how much military control he had. Evelyn, you gotta shut up. I fear I'm being trolled right now. But no, it was just a wonderful game. My favorite part about this game was how important the scouting was. But you remember that instance where Uzi didn't scout the double range crossbows, and he still had excellent decision making to play damage control there. House Wall, Siege Workshop, Instant Siege didn't take the damage, and then we had the TCs come up from Cosmonaut. And I really think what did Cosmonaut in is that he added the town centers a little too early, and so he wasn't able to play into anything but crossbows. He really invested a lot into the TCs, and Uzi was just able to control the game. Now, you know, if you're not a civilization that has cheap villagers, then maybe the imp time doesn't come in as fast or whatever. You know, there's those arguments there. But it wasn't like Uzi had a heavy boom focus with the military for a while. It was 3-range Cav Archers nonstop production with Siege Forward. I only collected a little bit more in the way of resources there. But I thought that was a good game. I always, as I cast games, I always see it as a bit of a challenge to try and like enlighten people and to get people excited about the things that excite me and the things that I find make this game beautiful. And back around the 6-minute mark, we had the scouting of the barracks, which led to the pre-wall, which led to the defense there. Then we had the excellent play like around 10 minutes, where you have Cosmonaut understanding that if he tries to full wall, the scouts would deny that and kill villagers. That was sick. Then you had the recognition from Cosmonaut that this would be a Spearman Archer follow-up, or sorry, Uzi, as he adds the skirmishers. And then, like, I mean, all of Dark Age and Feudal Age was sick. Then he noticed that there was a stable at some point, like right after this. Where is it? Okay, forgive me. I think he might have actually just noticed the scouts. So then he added his own scouts and went for the clear. I mean, God, it was so good. Again, like the only thing I really could be critical of Uzi is simply just not double checking to see if it's 2 ranges. And I think if he double checks, sees it's 2 ranges, he actually wouldn't have been in such a pickle when he got hit here. But I'm a big scouting guy, and I love how much it matters at the high level, and it was a beautiful game from both. 6-6 stuff. I hope people enjoyed that one as much as I did. Even though it didn't go super late, it was still just a multifaceted, complex, and beautiful game. The mods can't block her because that would stand in the way of true love. They don't make the rules. It's not... I don't... Someone just said Evelyn researched chemistry. I find it kind of funny because usually bots are like, hey, click this link. Ooh, sexy girl. Or, hey, do you want followers? Click this link. Like that was the big one on Twitch. Do you want to be famous? Click this link. Sexy girl, click this link. YouTube bots are doing different things, and it's like, click a link. But, like, what's the end game for this, what I assume is a bot from Evelyn? Maybe it's just a fangirl. Am I supposed to, like, message? Like, I'm really lonely and I message back? No links involved? I don't know.